Hey, it's Monday. Welcome back. Middle of March already. Where's this month going? Slow down. Pump your brakes. Hey, it's Monday. It's the Trigger. Welcome back again for 2 p.m. with the Trigger as we're preparing for the Embrace Equity one day summit coming up tomorrow. And we're going to have five amazing speakers. And I'm talking about the Market Appeal and Rock the Stage Media as we collaborate again on another summit event. Shannon Peel is the creator of Market Appeal and these amazing events. And I get to come in and host and co-create and have these amazing conversations with people all around the world that are beaming in to be these keynote speakers and influencers. And embrace equity is a big thing in our world right now. People are trying to figure it out. How does it match up into the marketplace and the workplace and their personal lives? It's a big discussion. Dr. Catherine Wiberg is with us today. She is spearheading a movement of helping people enjoy work. That sounds really cool, doesn't it? Helping people enjoy work. She wants to help stop the employee exodus. Now, I'm going to start right there, Doctor. By the way, welcome. Nice to see
Thank
you.
you.
But you're going to stop the exodus of employees. I love the concept of because we're all reeling. You can't get good employees right now, and they're all going out the door to go launch their own stuff. So, how are you helping people stop the exodus right now?
Thank you so much, Trigger. That is my most fun thing to do every day to help leaders stop their employee exodus by engaging appreciative intelligence. It's a way of encompassing all of the wonderfulness of the people that you have working with you.
Embracing, say that again.
Embracing appreciative intelligence.
Right there, you've got me going, what appreciative intelligence? Now, tell me about that. Come on, don't leave me hanging.
Well, I love raising awareness about appreciative intelligence. It's based on appreciative inquiry out of the 1980s, but it's so much more than an attitude of gratitude, which is something we hear a lot. It is really embracing and recognizing the strengths, the value, the more than job description that you have in each individual and recognizing how each individual can add to your company's mission and vision. As you really appreciate all of that, you also appreciate the value of your organization, of the teams, of the work that each person does. So, appreciative intelligence really looks at appreciation in those two different ways.
So, when you appreciate people more, understand how to do that, does that go back to your earlier statement that you want to make the workplace fun again?
I really do. And that does go back exactly to it. I have always, when I was an employee, worked at places where I knew I would be happy, where I knew I would enjoy the work. I was astonished at an early age to realize how many people said, "Yep, I'm here at work. I am looking forward to 5 o'clock." I would look at them and I would think to myself, but you're supposed to enjoy what you do. You spend so much time here. That really sparked in me research and practice on leadership and strengths and team building and learning that people start jobs and apply for jobs not only for the paycheck, but really because they identify with something at that organization. Maybe they had a friend who worked there and said, "Oh, I love my customers." Maybe they had a relative who worked there and said, "I love my coworkers." Maybe they came across somebody who said, "I love what I do every day." That's what encouraged somebody to apply. If we lose sight of what individuals bring to the organization, way more than a job description, way more than a resume, but really embrace who a whole person is, we automatically get diversity because we have diversity of thought, diversity of perspective, diversity of background, and people engage. They want to stay because they, as themselves, are valued, and what they can contribute builds and grows.
So I'm gonna geek out, but hopefully bring the point around very well. This takes me back to the 1960s Star Trek. Spock spoke of infinite diversity and infinite possibilities. It was thrown at us back then. It was shown to us through that TV show.
Oh,
Are we
yes.
still not there? Are we still not embracing that concept of infinite diversity, infinite possibilities?
It's just so common in society. And if you look at your group of friends, you'll see this as well. For us to attract people who are like us, to hire people who are like us, to hang out with people who are like us. Now, people who really want to grow look for people who are not like them, who have some similarities so they can at least communicate and understand each other a little bit, but some differences so they can learn, so they can grow, so they can complement each other. You'll see in many organizations, even if the physical diversity has is visible, the thought diversity sometimes it's not. It still is an extremely homogeneous environment. Yes, we look different, but we all think the same. And we forget that outside of work, I like to go rollerblading and play street hockey. And that boldness of playing street hockey can actually be brought into the organization. Now, I'm not going to say bring in your hockey pucks and your rollerblades to work, but that boldness, that excitement, that enthusiasm, you can bring to work. You can find new ways to do things, new ways to work with your teams.
So last week on 2 p.m. Live, we had a different speaker coming up to the Equity Embrace Equity Summit tomorrow, and we were speaking about that offices, workplace leaders espouse to. We want variation, we want your distinctive, we want your uniqueness, but then we collide into the reality as once you're there, they go, now we have this job description. We still
Uh-huh.
want your uniqueness, but there's a box. We want you to fit into this box, and that's where the collision happens. Do you see the
Yes.
same thing happening that way? That they say it, but they don't really know what to do when they bring them in.
That's exactly right. And that's why I talk about appreciative intelligence. That's why I work with companies on their culture, because you get so focused on these are the tasks that need to be done. This is the way we view the world, that even though organizations say we want the diversity, it's hard to change. Even people who say, I want change, I want change, I want change, fall back into their old habits. I recently released 90 pounds of excess weight. That, yes. Now,
Congratulations!
thank you. But I bring that up because I've been carrying excess weight for well more than a decade. Now, it hasn't always been that amount, but it's been excess weight. So
Mhm.
I've said, I want change, I want change, I want change. But until I found the right way for me, I couldn't change. And I had to have that particular outside view to say, this is where you're stuck. This is why you're struggling to change. Yes, you want change, but it's just so easy to fall back in that you need an outside perspective. You need to be able to look at your people differently. You need to look at yourself differently, for crying out loud. Appreciative intelligence is as much about the individual trying to learn it as the other individuals with whom you're trying to develop it.
So no softball questions on my show are allowed normally. So here's a harder one. We've been speaking about this equity, inclusion, diversion. We've been speaking about this for a couple of years now. It's been one of the biggest topics anywhere.
Hmm.
Is this a buzz, a fad, or is this something we're really serious about?
I think it's something we're really serious about. If you look at just American history, throughout our history, we've been fighting for equity, we've been fighting for equality. The country started because we didn't want double taxation without representation. There's equality. Then we had the slave trade and indentured servants. So it was everybody of every country who was coming here had some kind of subservience that they wanted to break out of. And then you look at 1920s when women were given the right to vote. You look at the civil rights movement of the 1960s. You look at, I was born in the 1970s. I grew up believing every person is a person. I don't care what your background is. I don't care your skin tone. I don't care if we have completely different worldviews. A person is a person is a person. And everybody needs to be treated like a person. So, yes, this is definitely a long term, lifelong thing. Everybody wants to be valued. Everybody deserves to be valued. Everybody needs to be recognized and understood. If you were mainstream for 30 years, you need to be understood and accepted as well as somebody who has not been mainstream for 30 years. Because every voice matters and every person is a person. Yes, this is long term. This is for the remainder of the world. We want equity and equality.
I love it. She made that very clear. This is not a passing fad. It's here to stay, and we're going forward. And that's awesome. Coming up tomorrow, we are going to have 5 speakers. It's a one-day summit, 11 a.m. Eastern time. We start, by the way, whatever time zone you're in. Figure out the math. Come along with us. Scan the QR code. Register to join us. And what exactly, without giving it all away, Dr. Catherine, what are you going to be speaking about tomorrow?
I am going to be talking about how to recognize the diversity in each person, including yourself. How to make, yes, how to make comparison empowering instead of disenfranchising, and how to truly, truly embrace with appreciative intelligence, and how you can reframe, rewrite, and redesign everything in your life from personal to work.
So I want to just have you expand a little bit on one of those items because we don't want to give it all away. But
Exactly. I want a
diversity
teaser.
within yourself.
Yes.
What the blazes is that? I've never heard anyone talk about diversity within my. I've heard about my workmates, my bosses, my children, but me.
Hmm. And that also ties into something else that I said, make comparison empowering. When we realize that we are not just anything, that we are within ourselves able to slay other people's dragons of their challenges, that we are able to step out of our own vision of ourselves, we realize that we are contributing our own diversity, that we are more than we thought we were, and we can contribute in ways that we didn't recognize.
Dr. Catherine, what would you say to encourage someone to come to tomorrow? What would be your best pitch to join the Embrace Equity?
Everybody wants to be recognized. Everybody has value. Embracing your own equality and the equality of everybody around you is going to increase the value you bring, the value you feel, and the value you create. Come join us tomorrow. You will be edified.
Dr. Catherine, thank you for being with us today. And again, throughout this, we've been sharing her social media links on the backside. We will share them out again in the chat and the description as well, because I know you love to connect with people, right?
I do. I love people.
There you go. And you don't want to miss it. Coming up tomorrow will be the Embrace Equity Conference, and it's a one-day summit, 5 different speakers. We go live at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That's tomorrow, the 15th of March. So you don't want to miss it. Use that QR code we have there. There will also be a link to register as well in the description. Come back tomorrow for 2 p.m. live. We'll be right after the Equity Conference winds down, and we'll probably have a surprise guest to show up on tomorrow's 2 p.m. live. Until then, I'm the Trigger, Rich Bontrigger. Keep rocking your day.